All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Speak to the Beak. I am Tim the Ferds, joined by Keith Hernandez. And Keith, the Mets blew a pretty big lead today, but it wasn't the worst loss in baseball, was it?
Thank God, yeah. It was close to being the worst loss in baseball, but thankfully the Yankees bullpen strikes again. This time it was not Chapman, even though if it was, that would have just been. I feel like that would have been the end of the season if Altuve had another walk-off home run for Chapman in Houston.
That would have
But
been
yeah,
insane.
blowing what a five-run lead. Sorry, blowing a five-run lead in the ninth inning is not pretty.
It's not pretty is right. That's definitely for sure. And it was actually Altuve's second three-run homer off Green this season.
Yeah.
That's what I heard on MLB Network there. Crazy stuff. Um, Look, but me and Keith got a pretty good show for you today, all right? So we're going to talk, unfortunately, Ronald Acuna Jr.'s injury, what it means for him
Yeah.
and the Braves. We're going to talk a little MLB Draft. We currently have that going on right now as we're recording this. And, of course, the real reason why you're here this week, home run derby bets as well as home run derby prop bets.
Oh
Okay?
yeah.
And obviously, if you're watching on the video here and you're like, wow, Keith is like looking at the ceiling, he's got a new dual monitor stack, like one on top of the
Yeah.
other, so the stats are on top. So every time Keith looks up, he's looking for some hard hitting knowledge. So just for the people watching,
My cheat notes.
that's right. Before we get started, usual stuff I'm going to tell you. If you're on the YouTube channel, subscribe, like it, send it to a friend, whatever. If you're one of lose degenerate friends that likes to gamble on basically anything, like I know one of lose friends literally gambles on like Korean League basketball. It's like insane. Um, yeah, like I don't know, but that's what they do.
Crazy.
So if you want to send it to more of your degenerate gambling friends, this might be the episode for them because we got home run derby picks and prop bets coming up. If you're on Spotify, Apple, or whatever else you're going to listen on there, subscribe, rate and review, follow, etc. Check out the website, beakbrands.com. Written content is there, like the waiver wire column. Podcast is also there. Coming up, if you're one of those NFL people, we have our 32 and 32 series starting in about 2 weeks, give or take. So if you're there for that, that'll be up on the site as well. Or if you want to hear Tom cry about McGregor snapping his leg in half, that'll probably come out on Tuesday. So that'll be there for you also. And with no baseball on, or basically any sports of any kind that matters, you'll have plenty of time to read about that. And obviously, follow Beak Brands on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. All right, Keith. So we're going to start with the unfortunate news first. Ronald Acuna Jr., I don't know, top five player in
Yeah.
baseball,
Yeah.
tears his ACL. He's out for the season. So I guess, I mean, obviously. So I guess we'll start with him. It was non-contact injury, and it's weird that you don't really get those in baseball, like the
Yeah.
ACLs that you would get in football. They're not nearly as common. So what do you think it means for him? Like, is he going to be back beginning of next year or like All Star break? You think they're going to slow play it with him? I mean,
I
after they just screwed over Mike Soroka. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean they killed Soroka, so I mean they should ideally they take their time with him. Usually, I feel like baseball ACL injuries are usually somewhere between like the 8 to 9 month range for recovery. If anyone remembers Stroman in 2015 towards ACL at the beginning of the season, 5 months recovered fully and got a college degree from Duke in that time frame. Came back and pitched 4 starts in September and helped the Blue Jays secure that postseason spot. Uh, that was a crazy run. But I know he reached out to Acuna too, offering help on if he needs any recovery tips or whatever. But I would think they take it slow with him after what just happened to Soroka.
Yeah, for sure. And we saw, Andrew McCutchen tear his ACL 2 years ago now, right?
Yeah,
Two?
against the Mets, I think.
Yeah, 2 years ago. And he came back the next season. So,
Yes, but he had that all that extra time to recover because of the late start.
correct. So that's why I'm thinking, obviously for Acuna, he is, even with Freddie Freeman there, he's the best player on their team.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
they're
who
going to.
knows? Freddie Freeman might not be there next year.
Oh, stealing my transitions. That's right.
Yeah.
So I guess my next thing was I think we both agree they're gonna sit on Acuna if they can.
Yeah.
Let's start with for right now. Did that kill the Braves?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, they lost today. Like they won that game yesterday by 1 run against the Marlins. They lost pretty bad today. They're not gonna have much offense outside of Freddie Freeman and Albies. Darno's out for the season, who had been good for them. That puts Ender Inciarte back in a spot to start again. So you're gonna be running outfield out there with no Ozuna, and no Acuna now.
Oh, trust me, I know about
That's why
Ozuna. You don't have to remind me.
But yeah, it's definitely been a very weird year for the Braves.
I was gonna say they were a lot of people's picks to win the NL East, but I mean between just in the past 2.5 months, Ozuna's out he was injured and then whatever else he was doing there, a little domestic violence. Acuna's out, Darno is out, Soroka's out. Those are arguably outside of Freddie Freeman, those are their 4 best players. I mean, well, not Darno, okay, but ignore him.
Not Darno, but yeah.
But yeah, the other guys. I don't know any team that could survive that. Maybe for short stints of time, but for the whole year, I don't know.
Yeah, no, you can't take that for the whole year. I mean, I guess you could say the Mets were in a similar situation with one of their best players slumping for the first 2 months, hitting under 200 for literally 45 games. Their best hitter, Jeff McNeil, was out for 39 games.
Yeah.
And he's just starting to heat up. The best hitter on the team from last year, Conforto, play like an MVP, is hitting under 200.
Well, that also, yep.
Alonso was out for 2 weeks. Carrasco's been out the whole season. Syndergaard's been out the whole season. Bullpen guys going down. DeGrom going down twice. He's missed about 4 starts. But no team's gonna survive with when your all top players are out, especially when they're going to be out the rest of the season.
That's what I mean. The Mets kind of survived. It's there's help coming on the horizon. We'll get these guys back. These guys for the Braves, they are done for. There's no hope. They're not coming back at all. So
they're replacing these guys with Drew Smiley, and
he's actually been pretty good. But yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think now, this is the Mets division to lose? Atlanta was a top contender. They're out of it. I don't see Miami making a push. Philadelphia just can't seem to get their act together on a consistent basis.
Yep.
And then obviously Strasburg's still down for the Nats, so
100% their division to lose. I mean, they've been in first place for over 2 months now. Even though it's only been, 4 or 5 games to lead max. This is 100% their division to lose. Especially with how the team talks about themselves after the game, in all their interviews and stuff. It would be embarrassing if they were to blow this, even though no matter how small the lead is. But I think this All-Star break is going to be good for everyone to get their stuff together and make that last push.
That's right. Let's keep it with Atlanta though. One last thing, what does this mean for Freddie Freeman? Impending free agent. He has been the key cog to their team for 10 years.
Almost 10 years. Yeah.
So, do you think they're hey, we'll trade you, but we want to re-sign you in free agency?
I don't think they trade him, but he leaves in free agency. That's my guess with him.
Okay.
But he leaves. My thing is that the fact that they hadn't even offered him anything the last 2-3 seasons was, especially before this offseason or before this season started last winter, the fact that they didn't even offer him anything was a bad sign for me. So I was already thinking about him leaving and where he'd go in the future. But it's gonna be weird if he were to leave and you see him outside in another uniform.
All right, so with that being said, do you think they trade him then? Maybe they know they're not going to re-sign him. No, you think they just play it out and let him go for nothing?
I think they're just gonna. Well, I think that if you're 4 games within the division, you're not out of it.
You still have 3 weeks though.
There are
They could pull a Cubs and be very out of it very quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite Twitter account, Meek Phil, he tweeted how historically bad do the Cubs have to be to to be able to trade their entire team. And that was a night they pitched a no hitter. And since then they've lost what 14 out of 15,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yep.
So and next day, historically bad. So it could happen. It could happen to the Braves too.
It could happen to the Braves too, is right. But I just wanted to check in there on Freddie Freeman and get your thoughts.
Yeah.
Let's quickly talk about the Major League Baseball draft, and then we'll hit the home run derby. Like I said, we got winner picks, prop bets, longest ball, like all this garbage that you can bet online. So here we go. The MLB draft, obviously not nearly as anticipated as the NFL draft, because the thing that does suck about baseball is that you take this guy in the first round and it's like, all right, see you in 4 years. So it's not like an immediate return. You know, you're an NFL fan, you take whatever, like the Jets took Mekhi Becton, not this draft, but the draft before that, and he starts from day one and he's out there. So you get a connection with the players, you know. Orioles in 2019 took Rushman, and I don't think he's played like at all.
I don't think he hasn't played. I think he's still in Double-A.
So it's like, even if it's you pick someone who's like a highly touted prospect, they're still years away from making an impact on your team, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. But this draft had like some notable players at the top that even if you're like a baseball casual, you might have known. So the Pittsburgh Pirates had the first pick in the draft, and they decided to, I don't know what they were doing. They took Henry Davis. He's a catcher. And then Jack Leiter, who many people thought was the best pitcher in the draft, I tend to agree, went to Texas. I'm not going to read off all these picks. But eventually, somehow, Kumar Rocker fell to the Mets at 10. And I had texted Keith like 2 hours before the draft. I'm like, yo, who do you think the Mets get at 10? And he said, Kumar Rocker, hopefully he slides, LOL. They said, just kidding, like, we'll probably just take some random college pitcher. And then the Angels are picking at 9, and we're like, this might actually happen. And then it happened. So let's talk draft philosophy, because like I said, a lot of these guys aren't going to come up for a while. Where do you stand on the Pirates taking a catcher, because no one had that projected, number one.
Stupid.
And number two, if you had to run in a Major League Baseball team, what would your draft philosophy kind of be? Because you tend to see like tendencies with teams. Like a lot of teams go hitting in the first round. A lot of teams go pitching. Mm-hmm. Some teams are like, I only want to pick guys that I know are going to sign. Like, I don't want to pick a guy and then he decides to go to college and then we don't get him and blah, blah, blah.
All that mess.
Yeah, so what do you think of, one, the Pirates pick, and two, your draft philosophy?
Yeah. Pirates pick was stupid because he wasn't even like a top 5 player on the board. I don't really know their farm system too well. I don't even know if there was a need for catcher there.
What do you mean
and
you
if
don't
there
know
was,
the Pirates pipeline? Come on, Keith.
Sorry. But I mean, like, Jack Leiter was, I think, to me, very clearly the number one player, not just the number one pitcher available. Even though, you know, before the college season started, even a couple months before the draft in, you know, March, April, June, May, whatever, skipping months.
Yeah, you are, but that's okay.
Like Kumar Rocker was almost clearly like the number one pick. And then, you know, he had a great freshman year 2019, shortened year last year in 2020. Came back for his junior year, and he was very good this year. He had one little not so great start in game 3 of the College World Series, which Vanderbilt lost in that game. But still, I mean, struck out 179 guys in 122 innings. I think he's going to be a very good guy. Someone on ESPN, I don't remember his name, one of their analysts said that he could be like a, you know, what K-Rod did when he got drafted in like 2002 or whatever, and what Price did in 2008. He could be a guy that, if he's polished enough, he could come into the bullpen and be like super reliever.
That's what the who did that? Finnegan was the most recent guy to do that.
Finnegan, yes.
With the Royals, and then they traded him to Cincinnati. Yes. Yeah.
Did Crochet do that too? Was Crochet drafted the year he came up?
I'd have to look into that. But I know for a fact that Finnegan did it.
Yes.
He was pitching in the World Series, and like 2 months ago he was in college, so it was crazy.
Yeah.
So when you So if you had to like have a whatever your draft philosophy would you
Hmm.
be like, hey, our third baseman's like 29, so we should take a third baseman because, in 5 years we're going to need a third baseman type of thing. Like,
Yeah.
some teams do draft for need. Are you just going to go best player available? Because a lot of
I,
MLB prospects, like, bust, no matter how good they're, like,
yeah.
good they're supposed to be. And we've seen it up and
Hmm.
down. So what would you kind of do if you were a GM? Like, where do you think you would go?
I think the last Mets front office, no matter how bad they were with other stuff, they had a very, very good draft philosophy in place where they would pick pretty much just the best player available with the first round pick. Someone who they thought they could sign for, below their first round projected slot value. So the people who don't know, with like signing bonuses for the MLB, you have like a certain amount of pool money, and every pick has like a slot value, and you can sign people for above or below that value, but you can't exceed your total amount of like signing bonus money. And if you do, you get penalized with money, draft picks, whatever. Not a good look. So what the Mets would do is first round, they would pick the best player available, someone they knew they would sign for below their slot value, and then the next two rounds they would pick all these high school kids who were like in the top 30 of the rankings, who easily could have been first round picks, but they were going to go to college. They would choose them then and overpay for them. And now you have these ridiculous top prospects who everyone thought was going to go to college, and now you have them on your team. You stole them in the second, third round. And then you just pick, high school or college juniors and seniors, guys who are going to sign and will sign below the slot value because they're done with school.
Yep.
Um, and you build that's how you could build a quick, easy farm system with that.
Yeah, yeah, because you're getting guys that shouldn't be there.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think if I had to be a general manager, to be honest, if I'm picking in the top 10, I'm taking a pitcher every single year. I don't care what position you play. They could reincarnate Babe Ruth and be like, yeah, he's going to enter the draft. I'm taking a pitcher.
Hmm.
I really don't care. Barry Bonds on steroids could be available. I'm taking Jack Leiter every time. Like, that's just.
I mean, who was the best number one pick in like the last 10 years? Had to be like Harper, right?
But that's. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, in
Or
baseball,
Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole was taken after,
nothing's
but that's a pitcher.
guaranteed. Yeah, nothing's
Yeah.
guaranteed. Especially hitters. Like, we've seen it. Like, the Mets alone, like, two famous ones. Last thing's Millage, terrible. And then our boy Fernando Martinez, terrible. Right?
God, yeah.
When the
He was an international signing though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when the Yankees made that trade with Seattle all those years ago and gave up Montero, everyone was freaking out, and he was terrible. Like, it happens all the time. Even guys that are
All the
really
time.
good, like Byron Buxton, he was a top prospect. The guy still hasn't put it together because he can't stay on the field. Like, you just can't really
Yeah.
project with these guys because everyone's like, I know it's cliche,
Hmm.
everyone's on a different path, but like, it's true. And hitters tend to bust a lot more often than pitchers that go in the top whatever, unless it's due to
Yes.
injury. Like, who was that
Yeah.
guy? Brady Aiken. They took like in the top
Yeah.
three, and he's thrown like zero career big league innings. But he
Mhm.
blew his arm out like 9 times. So I mean, you always run that risk. But like, I feel like pitchers in the first round are a lot safer than
Definitely.
hitters. Like, just
Those
generally.
guys generally
Yeah.
pan out pretty well. Um, like if you got to go back to like 2014 draft classes to like look at the top 14 picks and see like who actually like panned out from there. So that 2014 is actually that Brady Aiken was taken.
Okay.
The first two guys, so Aiken didn't even sign with the Astros. Tyler Kolek was the second pick by the Marlins. Never heard of that dude in my life. Next two picks were Carlos Rodon and Kyle Schwarber, who have both been All Stars or All MLB team,
Yeah.
whatever. They've both been All Stars at some point. Next two picks after that, Nick Gordon, who I'm pretty sure is D Gordon's brother,
Okay.
who is still in the minors and is still like a, I guess, top prospect. And Alex Jackson is a catcher, or now he's an outfielder. Um, Apparently he's on the Braves, according to this, drafted by the Mariners. Never heard of him in my life. After that, you got Aaron Nola, who was an All-Star. Kyle Freeland, who's decent for 1 year. Jeff Hoffman, who's been mediocre. Conforto, who was an All-Star once. And then you got this guy, Max Pentecost, who I've never heard of. another lefty pitcher I've never heard of on the Brewers. Trey Turner, Tyler Beatty, and Sean Newcomb. So about like half of those guys have panned out.
And a majority of those guys that did pan out are pitchers.
Pitchers, yeah. So yeah.
Even if they weren't like Jeff Hoffman's like
Nola,
he's serviceable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rodon, Nola, Freeland, and Hoffman. 4 of those guys are pitchers. Then Trey Turner, Conforto, and Rodon.
Yeah. So
or Schwarber, I mean, not Rodon.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That would just be me. So the fact that you would take a catcher, and catchers take a long time to develop too. Like we've talked about this before. Like Joey Bart did not play well last year.
He was not ready.
He was not ready. Rutschman still hasn't played a big league inning.
Well, I think that's still why Rutschman's in the minors, because they saw what happened with Joey Bart and they're like, we're not letting that happen.
That's what I mean.
Kid.
The Pirates.
No matter if their hitting's ready.
By the time this guy's ready to play, like Brian Hayes might be like 27 years old. Like yeah. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
So I guess the Pirates are slow playing. The GM must know that he's got time to turn it around. But I don't know what they're doing over there. But it's fine. It's fine because we got Kumar Rockers, so I don't really care.
That's all that matters.
And like I said, it half jokingly, we should call him up Friday to start because we have nothing. He's got to be better than what we have. We're throwing out nobody. But
I mean, this guy threw a no-hitter against Duke his freshman year in the college playoffs. Threw like 120 pitches. Like he's a bull. He's ready.
You love to see it. Hopefully he pans out. We don't have a Last Six Millers pitcher version on our team.
I know.
But all right, so let's get to the real thing that people are here for. Maybe, I don't know. Some people like to geek out on the draft, like me and Keith. Others are just here to throw their money away. So, start with the home run derby. Okay, so here's the current field: Shohei Ohtani, Joey Gallo, Pete Alonso, Matt Olson, Sal Perez, Juan Soto, Trevor Story, and Trey Mancini. Even if you're a casual fan, you know at least 4 of those guys. So, Keith, since the home run derby has kind of changed formats in recent years, do you want to fill in our not diehard fans on how it works?
So now I believe you get 3 minutes of hitting time. You don't get those 10 outs anymore. Each pitch can be thrown after the last pitch that was thrown when that ball lands. That's when the next pitch can be thrown. If you hit a certain amount of home runs over like 450 feet, or I don't know if it's just one or multiple, then you get like an extra like bonus 30 seconds or 60 seconds, something like that. But this format's so much more competitive. They do it bracket style. So this year, they seed it by, home runs in the season. So it's Shohei Ohtani against Juan Soto, Joey Gallo against Trevor Story, Matt Olson against Trey Mancini, and Salvador Perez against Pete Alonso. It is so much fun to watch because it's so fast paced. It's so competitive. If you can find the video of 2019 when Jock Peterson and Vladdy went into like 6 bonus or was it like 3 bonus rounds or whatever, trying to break each other's tie. That was super fun to watch, and if we get anything like that in this one, it's going to be insane.
And the best part about this year's home run derby is that it's at Coors Field. Let's go! I'm so hyped for that. And if you don't know, Coors Field is basically like a hitter's paradise.
Yeah.
You can hit pop-ups in the gap that would be outs that travel like 3 rows deep there. So like it's amazing. The outfield is spacious, so you like the fences are far. You gotta be a strong guy to get it out still, but like the ball carries there. Do you think they break out the juiced ball for the home run derby? They have to. I
heard they're not. You know how they put the baseballs in like the
humidors
or whatever? They're not doing that.
Oh, let's go!
The they're not doing that for the derby. So they're gonna have.
Yeah, they're gonna be flying.
They're gonna be flying.
So with that being said, right? Who is your current pick? I'll give you some odds, okay, at the home run derby. So here you go. You got Ohtani at plus 300, Gallo plus 450, Alonso, the defending champ, plus 500, Olson plus 600, Sal Perez plus 800, Soto plus 800, Story 900. He's the hometown guy. Mancini plus 1,200. So where are you going with your pick?
I'm going with the sleeper pick. At least this is my sleeper pick because nobody shows love to our A's, but Matt Olson. He just got such a swing that's made just to lift the ball. If he hits 450 tanks in that Oakland A's stadium where the ball's not supposed to travel, I just can't even imagine what he's going to do here. I just wish that right center field wall wasn't raised anymore.
I know.
If it was still low, oh my God. Because he just hits line drives that just keep going up. So I like him for this. This is going to be exciting.
Do you have a strong stay away guy where you're like, don't put your money on him?
Salvi.
Yeah.
Salvi, because well, first of all, he's up against Alonso in the first round. Especially I don't know if Alonso goes first or second, but if Alonso goes second, I don't know how he mastered his first year in 2019, but he knew how to hit exactly the amount of home runs he had to hit to beat the other person with like 20 seconds left.
Yeah.
And that was with his like cousin out there throwing terrible pitches. This year he's got like one of the Mets bench coaches for him. But yeah, going up against Salvi going up against an experienced guy in the Derby, definitely will not be good for him. And then even after that, he has to go up against Ohtani, or Ohtani or Soto.
Yeah.
If he ends up somehow beating Pete.
Yeah. Sal Perez is on the bad side of the bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really is.
And he's a line drive guy too.
Yeah.
He's not even though he will hit some crazy home runs, he's a line drive guy.
All right, so yeah, I'm with you on that. Stay away from Sal Perez. Why are you not taking Shohei Ohtani? He leads the league in home runs.
Well, he's not an experienced home run derby guy. This like format like surprisingly tires you out. If you watch any of the other years, I forgot to explain this in the format too. You get one timeout in the middle of your 3 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
So usually like a minute and a half through, or if you're not doing well like your first minute, you just need a second to regroup. Call like a 30-second timeout. I just don't think Ohtani is. He's not going to understand how much it's going to take out of him. Especially with the wear and tear that's been going on his body through the season between pitching and hitting. I'm pretty sure he played today, which means he's flying. He doesn't have that long of a flight because they were in LA. He's got to fly to Colorado, and he's gonna play in the Derby, and he knows he's gonna start the All-Star game tomorrow, either at DH or on the mound.
He's got a lot going on. Yeah,
he's got a lot going on. And I think Soto's a little bit of a sleeper pick.
Okay, that's reasonable. The reason I'm not picking Ohtani, I know I haven't given my pick yet, is because that side of the bracket's mad hard. That's why I'm not taking him. Like, dude, it's him. Like, all right, he's got to beat Soto, who's got a good swing. Yep. Then he's gonna have to beat Alonso after that. And then even if he does beat Alonso, he's gonna be shot by the time he gets to the last round because Alonso's gonna hit like a ton. So, like, he's going to have to crank out. Like, he needs Soto to go first and hit, like, 11 home runs. So Ohtani could just, like, hit it.
Which I think is a season total.
Oh, that was good timing right there, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Ohtani can get at, like, he needs the first round to not wear him down. Because him versus Alonso, if we get it, is going to be, like, the battle of the century.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. So, you know how we were talking about line drive hitters before? I was mentioning it with, like, Salvi and stuff.
Yeah.
Technically, line drives are better for this type of home run derby format because you can't hit the ball until the ball you hit lands.
Yes.
So if you're hitting these towering home runs,
you gotta wait
to take like 15 seconds to land. You lose all that time.
Yeah, you gotta try to hit ropes out.
Yeah.
The guy I'm going Joey Gallo. Even before I saw plus 450, I think that's pretty good odds. I don't think you can go wrong with him or Alonso at plus 500. I mean, obviously these are fluid, but Joey Gallo plus 450. Let's give you, Keith said before, Matt Olson's swing is built for home runs. Have you seen Joey Gallo swing a baseball bat? This man has no idea how to hit anything other than home runs. I'm pretty sure, like, what is he career? He's a career 213 hitter, but he's got 144 homers on his career. That's all he does is hit home runs. This year, He's slugging .522. He's got 24 home runs. He's hot as of late. And like I said,
he's on a tear.
He's on a tear. Trust me, I'm playing against him in fantasy baseball because of course I am. Played against Ohtani last week when he hit like 12 home runs. I'm playing against him this week. It's ridiculous. But I think one of the big dudes is going to end up winning this because this is going to be a battle of who's got the best stamina. And listen, Joey Gallo is ginormous, number one.
Yeah, he's huge.
And number two, his normal swing is I'm going to try to hit the ball 600 feet. So, like, this is not different for him. Like, this is just what he does. Like, that's the only swing he knows.
It's going to be a show.
It's going to be a show. Real quick before we go to some prop bets, no love for the hometown guy, Trevor Story?
No. Don't care.
Okay. There you go, I guess.
Literally, I am counting him out. Who's he up against? I forgot.
He's going against Gallo in the first round.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And then, obviously, Mancini. I hope he does well. But I don't think he has a chance to win.
Mancini would be a great story.
Yeah.
Mancini against, like, Ohtani, I think someone said in the finals would be an amazing story.
That would be. Yeah, see, I wouldn't mind losing my pick on that, but that's all right, you know?
Yeah.
So let's get to some prop bets here for the people that really like to bet on basically everything. Okay, so for right now, you can bet the over-under on the length of the longest home run. So it's currently set at 510.5 feet. So would you take the over on that or the under? Just for the people at home.
What was it?
510
500
and a half feet.
Oh, 510 and a half.
The longest home run at Coors Field, I believe, is Giancarlo Stanton, 504. 510 is deep.
510 is deep. I think I have to go under on that.
Okay.
I don't think 510 is deep. Like especially with this type of format that they have, where I don't think someone's gonna hit one that far. I think like 495 ish, and of course I'm gonna say this. Ohtani's gonna hit one like 530 tomorrow.
So you're going with the under?
I'm still going under.
Listen, I'm taking the over. And the only reason I'm taking the over is because they're not going to put the ball in the humidor, which means you just need Pete Alonso or Joey Gallo in glorified batting practice to get a hold of one ball in the first round and just send it like 50 rows deep into the upper deck. Like, that's all you need one time. And I think one of them might be able to do it.
You have to hit it onto the concourse. If like Stan hit one, the one that was 504. He hit it to left center field, and it went to like the third to last row up there. So if
you're gonna have to hit it over, if you pull it into left field, it's got to be at all those seats.
Yeah, if you hit it down the line, like not left center field, like the regular left field, I think you have to hit it over the concession stand that's there.
That's insane.
To get it over 500 feet. That would be insane.
Also, I'm thinking, because my pick's Gallo, he's a left-handed hitter. I'm thinking, like, that upper deck, like, all the way up there, like, 20 rows back.
Too.
Yeah. Like, that's where I think you're going to have to hit the ball.
Yeah.
Listen, I think MLB wants to put on a show, especially with all the sticky stuff thing. They're trying to get rid of it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's no humidor and the juice ball, and the things are just flying out. So me and Keith are split on that one. Who do you think hits the longest home run? Let me give you some odds. Joey Gallo plus 350, Alonso 425, Olsen 700, Perez 800, Ohtani 400, Story 600, Soto 750, Mancini 1,000.
I think I'm going with Ohtani.
Okay.
I think he's gonna be the one who does it.
That's interesting.
Just because he's like consistently hit them like over like 450.
Yeah.
And he's hit 33 of them. Not 33 over 450.
But yeah.
But he's hit 33 home runs this year, and like I feel like every time he hits one's over like 440, 450.
Yeah, I mean he hits the ball really far.
Yeah.
Just with the odds in play, I'd rather take Alonso with the extra 425 as opposed to 400. But I don't think you can go, once again, can't go wrong with either one of those guys.
Nope,
and me and Keith are kind of on the same page there. You can bet on the exact outcome. We're not going to do this right now because we could be here all night. But Go through your bracket. Who do you think wins each thing, like each matchup?
Yeah. I
You can just run through it. So Ohtani or Soto?
yeah, Ohtani,
Okay.
and then Alonso wins on that side,
Okay.
and
So
then
you have
I'm
Ohtani
taking
versus Pete in the
Ohtani
semis.
versus Pete.
Yeah.
That's gonna be scary.
Yeah.
That's gonna be one of those like Vlad against Doc Peterson, where they're
Yeah.
gonna go like 3 bonus rounds. I just gotta take. I think Otani's just gonna do it. He's gonna do it to him. But so okay, this is where my Matt Olson side comes to play. So now I got Trevor Story against Gallo. Gallo wins that. I got Matt Olson against Mancini. Olson wins that. I got Olson beating Gallo, and then I got Olson beating Otani because Otani's
Okay.
gonna be too tired
He's
from
gonna be too
going like
tired.
18 extra rounds with
Yeah.
Alonso.
I like that. I'm gonna stick with Ohtani and Pete on that side because I just can't take Sal Perez and Juan Soto right now. Like I'm just gonna take the two favorites.
Mhm.
On the right, obviously, I'm gonna take Gallo because that's my guy to win it. I'm gonna take
Yep.
Mancini upset first round over your boy Matt Olson. I don't know, but I'm doing it because
You
there's
gotta
gonna be
do it.
one person that's gonna be upset, and I
Yeah.
want it to be Mancini only because what he's been through.
Technically, Pete is an upset.
Yeah, I mean technically, but it's not.
It's not.
So I'm gonna go with Mancini there, and then Gallo crushes him. I'm gonna take Pete to beat Ohtani, and then just have the two gigantic people go at it in the championship.
Go at it.
But Gallo had a much easier path. He's got more stamina, and he beats Alonso to win the home run derby.
I hope that one happens more than mine, honestly.
Well, you know what? I'm glad. That's pretty sweet. Two more we got. Okay, so you can bet on the handedness of the winner. This is like ridiculous. Lefty or righty. So righty is plus 120. Lefty is minus 155.
Yeah.
You're still gonna ride the left-handed side.
I'm still going lefty. I mean, this obviously it's like that because there's more lefties in here.
Yeah.
I think.
I think it's
Is
split.
there more? No. Is it even? Is it
Split.
even?
Yeah.
Oh
right?
man, I
Because you
didn't
got
realize.
Soto, Ohtani, or lefty.
Yes,
Olsen
it is 4-4.
and Gallo. Yeah.
It felt like there were more lefties. It's weird.
The reason I'm also gonna go lefty is because you get Ohtani and Gallo and Olsen. So like,
Yeah.
the only right-hander I could see winning it is Pete.
Yeah. Exactly.
So all right, we're on the same page there with the left-handed hitters, and then you can pick the league of the winner. So American League minus 195, National League plus 150. I think the only
American League
National League
again.
guy that has a chance is Pete.
Is Pete. Because again, you get Olsen, you get Otani,
Gallo.
and you get Olsen. Oh yeah, it's Gallo. I said Olsen already.
And if Mancini makes it out of the side, you get Mancini too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like basically that whole side is against Story. Wait, is only two? No, there's three NL guys. Yeah, because
3.
Soto. Yeah,
Yes.
so you get to go American League there for sure. They have the big boppers outside of Pete Alonso. I think it's going to be a great time. So that was all the prop bets we have. So before I tease the next show here, like I said before, if you're on YouTube and you liked it, subscribe to the channel, hit us up, you comment, share with a friend, whatever. If you want more betting stuff, because I know we give betting picks every week. But if you want more betting picks, obviously let me and Keith know. No beat the streak today because obviously there's no games until Thursday. And we don't know who's going to be starting outside of like a handful of teams. So got nothing for you there.
No.
If you're on Apple or Spotify, make sure you rate and review, subscribe, and follow us. Beak Brands on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And like I said, check out the website, beakbrands.com. All the written content is there. If you're a fantasy player, we got fantasy stuff there. If you're a football guy, like I said before, our 32 and 32 series starts up in about 2 weeks. And it's a preview of every single team. You got real life football, fantasy football nuggets. We got you covered. So it's a nice way to get you back into football mode. Because I know if you're listening to this, most of you are in baseball mode. And like I said, Tuesday, you'll probably have a nice Tom upset piece about Conor McGregor. So if you're a UFC guy, you can check that out as well. And look, that's what we got. So me and Keith are gonna see what happens with the All-Star Game, the Home Run Derby, and like the 2 days of games we're gonna get before next week. We ourselves might take an All-Star break. We haven't decided yet on what's gonna happen. If there's something that blows up between now and then, obviously we won't. But if it's...
I'm going to be in Pittsburgh with the Mets.
Oh, well, yeah, I forgot about that. Keith's not even going to be here, so we're going to take an All-Star break.
There we go.
But if something super significant happens, I'll hop on a couple minutes by myself, hit us up, and then we'll get Keith's thoughts when he's back. But look, enjoy the Home Run Derby. Enjoy the All-Star Game. You get a little 2-day break, which is unfortunate. But listen, if you're bored, beakbrands.com. So that's what we got for you today. So Keith, enjoy Pittsburgh next weekend, and
Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon. And everybody else, same thing.